Alright, for those of you that don't know, we are some of the founding members of the NeGeekExpo out of Ashtabula County. I am David Jackson, and this is...
Mark Levis.
And...
Anthony Leverage.
Jillian Dennison.
And this is new to us, but, you know, a lot of times we sit around and we just have long, in-depth conversations about comic books, movies, TV shows, video games, novels, you name it. Whatever you guys are into, we're talking about it. So we figured you guys would probably like to hear some of the shit we have to say.
Or maybe not.
Probably.
It's a very good possibility, you know.
Depending on what we're reviewing, don't
Give
worry.
us a chance.
Mark will not be involved in any Star Wars conversations. I promise that already. But today, for those of you that can see here and on my tablet here, we are going to be reviewing the new Marvel Now Uncanny X-Men #1. For those of you that don't know, Uncanny takes place after the war that was the Avengers versus the X-Men, to where 5 members of the X-Men became Dark Phoenix, including their pivotal Boy Scout leader, Mr. Scott. Everybody in the world hates him, Cyclops Summers.
Yes.
I'm sorry for the one Cyclops fan that might be watching this. We apologize ahead of time, but we don't like him.
I don't apologize for nothing.
Yeah.
I don't hate
Tools.
Cyclops.
I think he's useless.
He has a sweet power, I mean...
It's a sweet power.
Okay, his power's
I'll give you
cool.
that one.
You can't miss.
Yeah, his power set is awesome.
He
but
can't do anything on his own. He has to have someone always backing him up. He has to have Storm there with him, guiding his leadership.
Yeah.
He is not a leader in the way that he thinks he
We've
is.
definitely seen what
He never
happens.
has been.
Well, we definitely see what happens when Scott gets out of hand. Like when he took over the Phoenix Force, he was the first and only member to go Dark Phoenix and started killing people because he could. I mean,
go crazy.
Yeah, he did.
There has been only one time where Cyclops was awesome, and that was in issue #1 of Astonishing X-Men. There was a fold-out page where he took his visor off and killed all the Sentinels, and the page was completely red. That was the only time. You turn the page, he sucked again. I'm sorry.
you know what? I gotta say that one was cool, but I really like Joss Whedon's run when they were fighting. I can't remember on Breakworld with Colossus and the
I
Prophecy.
can't remember what the villains are called.
Cyclops could control his power. Well, leading up to that point, we didn't know he could control his powers. All we knew was Emma Frost did something to his head that left him without wearing his visor. But they trick the leaders of the alien race into taking aboard Cyclops and resuscitating him and saying that they had an ultimate weapon. Come to find out, the ultimate weapon was Scott Summers with control of his powers. Now, Scott in control, when he has no visor and nothing hindering him, is a pretty cool character. That lasted about the rest of that issue, then after that he's back to whiny little, I miss Jean Grey, yeah. Personal opinion, but everybody else feels the same way, so.
Yeah, he's a tool bag.
Yeah, well, now that we know how we feel about Scott, back to the book.
Right. Some of the other characters in the book include Magic, Emma Frost, and Magneto.
Well, that also leads us into it, because in this comic book he can't control his powers.
Very
Yeah.
true, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I would like to point out, as Mark and I have actually talked about, is 60 years later, Mark Levis finally acquires a Magneto helmet.
Because he's 60 years old now.
Yeah. And they finally, well not finally, but they actually update Magneto's entire uniform. I'm not digging it. I don't like it.
No,
I dig it.
Bad.
I dig it. I'm sorry.
Plus,
I like it.
The coloring in the book, I can't tell. Is it white? What is it?
Yeah, I'm going to be indifferent until I know.
I don't understand
Right.
what's going on.
There's a lot going on. All we know is Cyclops has a big X on his face.
My
That's stupid.
second major complaint is that Emma Frost is wearing way too much clothing.
I couldn't even tell it was her. Honestly, they made reference to her. I was looking at the book and I was like, who the hell is Emma Frost in here? I don't
I was
understand.
thinking she was Magic for a minute. I was like, wait, that's Magic. So who's
Our
Emma?
main writer for the book is Mr. Brian Michael Bendis, who we all know from huge events such as Avengers vs. X-Men
Good writer.
and
Good
House of
writer.
M.
Yes.
Does a lot of great stuff. The artist is Chris Bachalo. I like Chris's artwork.
He did a good run on the X-Men in the 90s.
Yeah, but again, to me, it seems like a lot of the characters are too young.
Red's a little too young looking.
Right.
Emma looks very young.
Emma looks like she's 17 years old,
Yeah,
and we all
that's-
know that she's not.
She
Yeah.
makes Mark a pedophile.
And okay, page 1 here. I don't know if you guys will actually be able to see it on camera or not. But page 1, there's Maria Hill, Nick Fury Jr., which that's a whole another conversation that I'll come up with later when it's not Black History Month. And there's an agent on the page who they don't name, but I'm pretty sure it's Phil Coulson. They don't name him, but as we all know, when Marvel has a big movie franchise or a big television show coming out, they find a way to work their characters into all the books. That's
appearance. He looks generally like him.
That's Phil Coulson.
You would think.
Like, how many other SHIELD agents do we know wear a suit and tie on a regular basis? Nobody. So, that's my...
I have a question, too. Who was the guy that looks like the Marvel movie Nick Fury?
That's Nick Fury Jr.
Nick Fury Jr.?
Totally not... I couldn't make this up if I
Is that
wanted
what his
to.
name is?
That is his name. He,
He's serious?
Like, is he actually the child of Nick
I
Fury?
don't even know who he is. I've never even heard of him.
Man, we got a lot of editing to do on this video. I might leave it just the same. I don't care. Nick Fury Jr. I was apparently in the Secret Avengers run during the Avengers vs. X-Men. You find out that Nick had a fling with a black SHIELD agent because they had to find a way to bring black Nick Fury into the main line. Why he is missing an eye, I don't know. This is per the Wikipedia page, because when I saw him on the cover of the Marvel Now stuff, when they were doing the Secret Dossier stuff, I had to find out who this was. I'm like, what? What? No. Are they bringing Ultimate Nick Fury into the main line, or what's going on?
I bet you that's like a Fury family thing. Like, as soon as you're born, they pop that eyeball. It really could be.
You're a Fury boy.
I mean, he's even got the same
Coming of
scar around
age.
the eye, so it makes sense. The one thing I will note is, if you guys notice, the uniform he's wearing is Steve Rogers' Super Soldier uniform, not the Captain America, but when Steve took over as leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I don't know if that's foreshadowing or what's going on there, but he's half black, and he's Nick Fury's son, and he's basically Samuel L. Jackson without being Sam Jackson. Hi, Dad. Mama coming to get that child support. So the book starts with Maria Hill being escorted into the brig on the SHIELD helicarrier by Nick Fury Jr. and wannabe Coulson because someone turned himself in. Or real Coulson.
We don't know yet.
And the character's unknown. All you see is his chin and
Bald
jawline and a bald head. Bald head. We'll get to that later. We don't want to ruin anything right now.
Well, they show his bald head.
Right, they showed the back of his head, and like there's some. Okay, before we reveal who it is at the end of the book and everything, who did you guys think it was reading the book?
I didn't have a clue. I thought it was like some weird D-lister that they were bringing up out of the shadows or something.
At first, I was like, "Is this Xavier?" And then he had like that evil grin.
Right.
Like, he would never grin like that.
Well, but again, like we were talking about before we actually started the video, in the Extreme X-Men, the Dimension Hopping team right now is going through and dealing with evil Xavier. So.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know if that was him and he was in the main line or what, but I thought it was Charles Xavier, especially with what's going on in the Avengers books right now with the Red Skull. So.
Yeah, you don't know when everyone really stays dead.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy, the only ones that are permanent.
And Nightcrawler seems to be dead still.
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
Original Nightcrawler, not
original
alternate
Nightcrawler.
universe Nightcrawler.
The one character we all want to come back ain't come back yet.
I wanted Batman to come back when he died.
We are in a completely different universe right now.
Marvel right now.
Oh my god.
All right, keep going.
We'll do Death of the Family and I'll have you back. But, moving on. The
Insulted,
prisoner
I'm sorry.
slipped something out of his mouth. I don't know where he got it from because he's on a SHIELD helicarrier. You figured they would have searched him. They did touch on that. The guy said he did, but you know he's gonna get reprimanded later, probably punched in the face.
Here's hoping.
But he has a little device that shows apparently the location of the newly born or newly powered mutants across the planet since the whole No More Phoenix thing happened. Which, can we talk about how overpowered Scarlet Witch is? Like, she's pretty much Marvel's retcon character. Like, if they want to get rid of something, they just say Scarlet Witch is in the book, and she's going to say no more something, and that's going to fix the problem.
Yeah.
She's just a no fun character. It's hard to write anything with her. Like with Superman, it's hard to write Superman in anything because he's unbeatable.
Right. We're going to throw Wolverine on that list, too. So anyhow, this person apparently has tons and tons of knowledge of Scott Summers' team of X-Men that are parading across the planet, gathering up young mutants before Captain America can get to them and make them Avengers. I'm doing all the talking, so when do you guys want to pick up?
They're talking about this new mutant revolution that's going on. So all these new mutants are being born all of a sudden out of nowhere, and they're popping up everywhere, and all these new powers even, like powers that we haven't seen before. So Scott Summers is going around trying to get everyone, but they start to mention how the people are supporting Cyclops. how they are like, yeah, Cyclops, all the people on the streets are just so for him
Cyclops
and
was
so
right.
with him and everything. Yeah, Cyclops was right kind of stuff. So.
It's because they had to write that in, that people liked him.
Yeah. People don't like him in real life, so they had to pretend that people liked him in the comic book.
All of our bias aside from Cyclops, how do we feel? How do you think any of us would have decided in this situation between Cyclops' dream, if you can call it that, or like what Captain America is doing? Like, how do you think any of us would feel?
I mean, Cyclops is trying to save him from being like persecuted, freedom, mutant rights, kind of everything, backing all that stuff.
He is,
Captain
but
America's trying to collect people to help expand their team to stop the bad things from coming. So Cyclops is more focusing on just the mutants themselves as mutants, where Captain America thinks of the people as a whole.
has Cyclops' ideology went from Xavier to Magneto?
I think it's Magneto for sure.
Yeah.
I think
he's-
it breaks the illusion of good and evil. Because he's doing something because he believes that it's right. He believes that he's going to help the mutant population. He believes he's doing something great for them, but he doesn't realize he's going the wrong way about it.
Right.
Like, he's using very dark ambitions to
So
bring about...
again, that ideology is very Eric Lynch, very
Right.
Magneto.
It's very
And I don't
Magneto.
think
And
he
so
realizes
considering
that
he can't control his powers, and he completely leveled that whole area, I
Which
think
we
is...
haven't got to yet.
We haven't got to yet, but still. I mean, it's... And the fact that he can't control his stuff is just very...
I don't know if we need to review it page by page.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
right.
sure the 5 people watching this have read it.
I definitely think it's kind of weird because like Cyclops is Magneto rather is part of this team, and his ideology has always been congruent with Professor Xavier, except for he did go because of the fact that he's Jewish and because of the fact that his family was prosecuted and everything. I mean, those of us that have read Magneto Testament see, and like hell, I mean, what Bryan Singer did in the very first X-Men movie that shows.
Yeah, double persecution.
Right, he's a mutant, and he's Jewish, like, and he went through the internment camps and all that, and then, you know, with all this stuff going on. So Magneto kind of has a reason to be the way he is. Cyclops was raised to be the better man, and then the father figure he had, he killed. Mm-hmm. And this made him, to me, that immediately was the lowest point you could take Scott Summers, in my opinion. But, I mean, aside from groveling at Jean every time she's resurrected.
Right. But at the same time, you have Magneto on your team, and you're the leader of that team. You need to start evaluating your life at some point.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he was at Utopia,
Right.
and he was doing the whole living in harmony type thing. But I mean, at the same time, you have Magneto on your team.
Right.
If he's following you, obviously you are going down that path.
Worse than he is.
Right.
So, I mean, let's review the rest of the team. Magic. She's
Yeah.
an evil bitch.
Yeah, she is. Emma.
Emma Frost.
We all know she's
Emma Frost is
She's a
turncoat.
sexy evil bitch.
She's
Magic's sexy too, but...
Yeah, but Emma's definitely a turncoat for whatever her ambition is. Like we've seen that several times with the birth of the New Hellfire Club, to where she was working with them, and then the Cabal, the opposite of the Marvel Illuminati, where she was working with them. And you know, like it's been shown several times that Emma will sleep with anybody to get her way, even though she's with Cyclops. Like you know, she's slept with Tony Stark. I mean,
Namor.
not many people haven't slept with Tony Stark.
I haven't. I want that on record.
I have.
Andy, if you watch this, we have no clue what she's talking about. But, like, this is a team of, like, honestly, some of the most badass characters power-wise.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the
Well,
Master...
and then they have these new mutants.
Right.
Some newborns that they have. What was that girl's name?
Tempest.
The one that can stop
Yeah.
time?
Yeah.
She can form this bubble to stop time, and they say in there only 4 days after her power's been awakened, she can control space and time.
That was
in
pretty
her
badass.
bubble.
That was pretty
Right.
badass.
Yeah. Which makes you wonder, are these mutants, like, are they developing faster? Are they being able to control their powers faster? Or
Right.
is this something that they're training them to do? Are they training them to...
It's kind of odd,
Master
because
themselves
what we
faster.
saw with Generation Hope, when before we knew what Hope's power set was, when she was just near somebody that had an X-gene and their power evolved, that person didn't have control. But like Jill's saying, like, in this 4-day span, this girl, Tempest, Tempest, can control all of space of time 4 days after you get your powers. Like, whereas Magneto, Magic, Emma, and Cyclops, I mean, Cyclops has absolutely no control left anymore at all, but the other three, it took them years to get to that point. You know?
That does... this is a while ago, and it might not even work with the comic books. I can't remember. It was a cartoon. But Magneto had the machine that evolved your powers quicker.
Mm.
You guys remember that?
They could,
Yeah.
the Cauldron from X-Men Evolution.
Yeah.
They could bring that into the books, but are they going to take that step, or are they going to let Evolution take its course?
I don't know. That's just a
but
thought
then,
that I
to
had.
think about this girl's power set, though, because it is space and time, could it just been the power evolving her? You
That's
know?
true.
I mean, look at her
Oh,
teachers.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she has Cyclops, she has Magneto, and she has Emma Frost. All instructors who teach people how to use their powers
Right.
properly.
And also, Emma, like she did with Cyclops, where he could control his powers, could she have gone into her mind and taught her, like, through her mind,
That
how to
could be.
control her powers?
That
She
could
put herself
be,
into a bubble
but she's
of
limited.
time,
Yeah.
and then I mean, she
Emma's
could be.
powers are
She got
limited,
those
you know.
powers for years.
Right, she
Inside
could
that bubble.
she could have trained a la Dragon Ball Z, Hyperbolic Time Chamber. She could have trained herself in that bubble and slowed down time and just taught herself how to use her powers. But that takes a
But that would take
control
a
too.
Right,
Sure.
yeah.
But I mean, on that same note, like, we'll learn more about this character as the books go on, I'm sure. I hope she's not a throwaway character, let me put it that way. Like, you know.
No, because she seems like a badass.
Yeah. And then we have another boy.
Little
They don't
misguided,
say-
obviously.
They don't say his
They
name.
don't give him a name, but he's a healer. He, to me, was akin to the 60s Marvel characters, to where he has to say what he can do all the time.
I gotta
there-
stay, I can heal.
Right. There's
If I beat this stick upon the ground, it causes a it might become Thor.
Yes. Oh my God.
for anybody complaining about comic writing now, go back and read older comics.
Oh,
Takes a half hour now. It took like 3 hours back then.
Well, anyhow, what Scott, Emma, and his team are all doing is they, like Jill said, they're gathering new mutants for the cause, and they run across this boy who seems to have some kind of a sonic power, or
Bubbles.
actually no.
They
Bubble
come
boy.
out of him.
Yeah, it's weird.
I didn't know at
I
first
thought
what
it
was
was-
going on.
I thought it was kind of
He's a
dumb.
mobile
I thought they were
I
coming off this
really-
necklace or something.
Yeah.
It's looking
I didn't
like
realize
he's
what was going on
hurting
either.
people.
I completely agree.
It looked like he's unintentionally hurting people. I kind of hope his name was like Pinball or something like that, because it looks
But
kind of cool.
it just looked like he was bouncing around, like they're getting picked up by bubbles and floating around. It seemed like a really dumb power.
Yeah.
to me.
We'll see, but of
I mean,
course,
it could be a projectile thing like Spike.
It could be. Like he could turn them into weird shapes. That would be kind of cool.
Can I point out that Cyclops' outfit looks like a Tron suit?
yeah, it does. It does.
It does.
I mean, who owns Marvel now?
Mmm.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We'll have a conversation about that a different day.
I want to be involved in that
Blue
conversation
and
because I have a big point to make
Cyclops.
in that. So.
So anyhow, obviously people are afraid because of the New Mutant Verse. Like, after M-Day with millions of depowered mutants around the planet and only a handful of them left, I think people got comfortable with knowing, like, there's all you guys
There's
over
only
here,
200 mutants left.
and, like, the rest of us are over here, human-wise. We're all cool with you guys being over there, and now that all these mutants are popping up, it's racism without being racist.
My problem with this whole thing is the fact that I'm a normal person, you're a mutant. I want to be your friend, okay? Because you're going to kick my ass. You're going to completely take over the world.
It's the
I don't want to push you into taking over the world, because you're a good guy right now.
But then there's the Sentinels,
True.
which people know can stop some mutants.
Yeah.
Some being the key word.
But
Yeah.
it's just, it seems like if they would work together, like, I realize where they're going, but it just seems
There's no
like...
story if they work together.
Right, exactly. I mean, who reads a book about peace and harmony? Oh.
Well, I think what always drew me into X-Men is it relates to real life with
Yes.
everything. It's a huge civil rights issue.
Oh, it is.
Like,
It
it's
is.
always been, if you fear and don't understand something, you're going to hate it. Like, a lot of, that's real life. You don't understand something, you're afraid of
Grew up with
something,
that
you'll hate it.
firsthand.
So,
Yeah. It's one of those
Because of the
situations. Yeah, because of the bandana. actually.
bandana.
Yeah.
That's the
I thought it
bandana.
was glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, the X-Men have always been, it's something my brother and I talked about. It's one of those relatable books because they are characters that you actually care about, and their struggle is something that, like Mark said, is very realistic. So to see, like, again, the New Mutant births pop up and how people react to that, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, holy shit, there's this kid here that has powers but doesn't know how to use them. I'm scared, I'm going to go run away. He could,
Well,
like,
I mean,
like you
that's
said.
scary, yeah.
Well, like, yes, like, you look at it as he could potentially kick my ass. Do you go as, I want to be friends with him, or do you think this is a kid with a gun that doesn't know what he's doing with it?
True, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really blame people for the way they're reacting, but on the same note, it's not new.
Yeah.
This is something that's been happening in the Marvel Universe since there was a Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
People should understand this is something that's going to happen. Maybe we should chill the hell out and let
Well,
them be.
but there is a generation of people that would be, like, children and maybe some teenagers in this book that wouldn't have experienced New Mutants because of After M Day.
True, very
There haven't been New Mutants for a long period of time. So, I mean, I don't know how far this is compared to that in actual time.
And nobody knows how the Marvel timeline actually works.
And
But then it also brings up...
it resets every 10 years?
Yeah, something like
it
that.
starts over. But that also brings up why is this happening?
Yeah.
What do you guys think on that?
Why is this happening?
Yeah, why are there New Mutants all of a sudden?
Oh, that was because of the Phoenix Force splintering. That was the residual energy from the
Tony
Phoenix
Stark
Force.
and the boom and the stuff and my memory's bad.
Yeah, it was an
Must
awesome
have been one
suit.
that I forgot to
Read Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yeah,
That's all we can tell you. Is read
There's Tony
Avengers.
Stark and there's a boom and there's some stuff and then Hope did some stuff and there's an explosion and some stuff that my memory can't remember.
Yeah, because
was it like a fusion of magic and tech?
Something
made
like
his
that.
suit, and he was able to pull the Phoenix. Like, well, that's how it splintered into the 5.
Right. Well, because of how powerful the Phoenix Force was, when when Hope and Wanda fused powers and Hope mimicked Wanda's powers and they said no more Phoenix, it wasn't something that was just going to dissipate entirely.
Yeah.
We kind of all knew that. My expectation for that isn't something entirely different, though. It's not to do with the birth of new mutants, rather the resurrection of old mutants, and I swear to God, if they bring her back again, I'm done. I'll stop.
They already did bring her back from the past to the future.
That, you know what? That's another one of my fears too with the all new X-Men books is that this new gene getting attracted to what the residual Phoenix Force is.
They couldn't do that.
They couldn't do that, but they might.
Oh man, Marvel hates you, just so you know. They're going to mess with you as much as they possibly can.
They did kill one of your favorite characters and change one of your other favorite characters' costume.
Right.
And they stole the symbiote from Eddie Brock.
And they made Deadpool.
I'm just throwing that out there. I hate you, Marvel.
Anthony Lovers does not speak for the rest of us.
Just in that one note.
Now, okay, so after they show up to stop this kid and try to help him and recruit him and everything, what happens but the Sentinels show up?
Surprise!
A new Sentinel.
Yeah.
New type of Sentinel that's a little bit... Actually, you can't really get a good proportion on them because some of them
this
look
is
like
another
they're...
thing about this comic, though. Me and Mark had discussed this at one point. The coloring, we are not fans of.
Definitely. It was telling a story,
the drawing,
though.
The inking, that's all very nice, but the coloring is just...
Yeah.
For me.
It
looks like it's half done.
Yeah, I thought it was more because of it being told in a story.
I think that's what
why
it is. It's because this person at the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters
it made me feel like it was more of a story instead of...
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, we didn't think about that.
Because when mysterious character was talking to Agent Hill,
it was fully colored, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This does look more like a dream sequence than anything. My biggest thing about this is like I can't tell what these Sentinels are because like here it looks classic giant Sentinel, but here it looks like it's a human-sized
Well,
Sentinel.
okay,
That Magneto staring apart.
in Wolverine and the X-Men, you have the Hellfire Club, which is a bunch of kids that are like super geniuses, and they're popping out new kinds of Sentinels every day. They have the Nano Sentinel, they have the Swarm Sentinels, they have the Giant Sentinels. I mean, they have come a long way in Sentinel technology. So I think that sets up this book.
Right.
It's amazing it took that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I agree.
they're not just the giant Sentinels or Nimrod all the time anymore. It's
Yeah.
a mix.
I was
Which makes it a little bit worse.
Well, they did have little ones, and then 90s at Zero Tolerance.
Yeah.
I remember reading that. That was when Bastion first came out.
That was the around the time of God Loves, Man Kills, wasn't it?
It was a long time after that.
I
think that was early 90s.
So, here we have the Sentinels all getting their asses kicked because it's, the X-Men and Magneto, like, Magic, who apparently, one of her new powers is jumping 20 feet in the air. I don't know where that came from.
She's a bad
But
bitch.
you see a demonstration of Magneto using his powers and straining himself. Now, I am not 100% familiar with why Magneto, Emma, and Scott are limited. I just know that they are. Like, Scott being limited makes sense because of the fact that the Phoenix Force evacuated itself from his body. Magneto and Emma, I don't... Well, Emma
was
Phoenix Force.
Also.
Magneto, don't...
They haven't really explained it.
So, I think
They
it's...
I didn't know if I
touched
missed
on
something.
it a little bit.
Well, I know I read the comic where in All New X-Men, they touched on how his power was waning. But they didn't
Is
really
he getting
explain it.
older? Is that... I don't know. I didn't...
I thought it had something to do with Scott being Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what.
I swear
that's
that
what was
something
said.
To
mentioned
reread it.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Read it and see it.
Well, we'll post a comment on this video about that later.
I'm sure we'll get a bunch of hate mail.
Oh, we're going
Yeah.
to. So many people.
don't know what you're talking about. You need to shut up.
Well, I mean, you know, this is an open
That's
invitation.
fine.
Some of you guys, not everybody, I'm not going to put this out to everybody, but some of you, we are more than willing to sit down and talk to on camera with about these books. If any of you ever feel like, hey, we might have missed a point, or we might have missed the idea behind something, if you feel like you want to sit down and talk with us, get with us and let us know. I am more than willing to have a decent conversation with you, but don't come in realizing that this is, you know, this is an opinion-based thing. So, it's an opinion. That doesn't mean that you're right or I'm wrong. That means it's your opinion, and I'll respect your opinion as long as you respect mine.
Also doesn't mean the opinions are those of other people around you.
Exactly.
But we're right and you're wrong.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
All right, it's Marvel. We're right about everything Marvel. There's nothing that you can tell us. So, Magneto's hurting. We move on to the next panel, and everybody's like trying to figure out what to do. And there's Magic with her 20-foot jump about the Shepherd's sword in the Sentinel's face, and then all of a sudden, Scott just tells everybody to get down and unleashes. And it's basically Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure. Like you would think with all the tech, like just like we were saying with the Sentinels and everything, that they'd still be able to focus his power. But when he blasts through his current X-shaped visor, that doesn't make any practical sense whatsoever. The beam just spreads literally in an arc and takes everything out around it and levels about 7 or 8 city blocks, it looks like.
Now, if he's not in control of his powers, and that thing, and the beam is so widespread, is that thing always open, or does he have to open it himself? That was my question during it.
He doesn't realize that he has.
Yeah, I
power,
realized
though.
that. Yeah,
In
but
the comic,
still.
he doesn't even know what happened right there.
Yeah, he just said, it was, let me see.
Next page.
Wow.
That felt good. Scott's exact words after letting out that huge blast.
It's a release.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, they're trying to get out. They don't really touch on it. All he says was that felt good. Like, and the person that's telling the story just explains that it was a lucky shot. That he was just kind of doing it to see what would happen. And again, like Jill said, he doesn't know how he did it. He just knows that he did.
Mm-hmm. He's defective, like when Sokka hit Sparky Boom Man in the head with a boomerang.
Now, the one thing that I have to say I kind of had to disagree with is the way they get this kid to come with them. They basically don't give him a choice. They're like, look, dude, like, you see what the hell just happened here? Just come on with us, man. Like, to me, and this is me being the token black dude in the group. To me, that would have been like in the 60s and 70s, the Black Panthers just picking me up out of Klan rally and say, you're with us, you have to come with us, you're living with us from now on.
He pretty much tells this dude that he has no place in the world.
Yeah.
What does he say? That's almost exactly what he says.
Yeah.
There's no place for you here anymore.
And that was Magneto talking to this kid.
That's because Cyclops blew it up. I mean, let's be realistic. It wasn't because they were after him. It was because Cyclops blew it up.
Right. I mean, he ain't got no. If his house was right, we don't know if he lived on that block though.
We don't know.
He could have lived a city
He
over.
could have just been delivering.
Visiting family.
He could have been. It could have been a nursing home that he blew up, and we don't even know.
I mean, at least it's not a meth lab nursing home.
Well, it's not Ashley Bueller.
Right. So basically, what we find out is this person goes to S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters because he wants them, he tells them, like, you know, your only option here is to kill Scott Summers. That's the only gambit you have left, is to take him out, because if you don't, it's just going to get progressively worse. And I would know.
What the hell? Is that the actual page?
That's a 2-page.
It's-
maybe?
You can go panel for panel.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't understand.
Digital
Sorry.
comics, these guys don't mess with.
Technology here.
No.
Real books.
But basically, the reason this guy is saying this is because he's lived this life that Scott is currently walking down, which is something we were discussing before we started the video because we didn't want to spoil it for you guys. And it's kind of... It's weird when you find out who it is that's talking to Agent Hill. I'm sorry, Director Hill at the end of the book, because that's where we are now. It's
Number one, he looks very different.
he
Than
completely.
he has
I don't
before.
like his new look at all.
I'm not really digging it. It looks too young
He's
again.
too biker for me.
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
again. This is Chris Bocciolo.
See, I like
Another
the
artist can make it
white
look
hair.
different.
I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of the white hair.
Anthony pretty much just gave it away. If you guys haven't figured it out, no, not really.
No.
There's lots of long white-haired
Yeah.
people out there.
It could be
That are
long
now
shot.
bald.
It's not. It's not long shot, but it could have been.
It's Storm with that Michael Jackson.
Storm.
So, who wants to do the reveal on who this is? Who wants to do it? I think you should do it.
It's the greatest comic book character ever, Magneto.
I
Yeah.
like that Wolverine
Dun,
was
dun,
very
dun.
Yeah.
I don't
So,
know.
we have no clue because Uncanny #2 isn't out yet. And the lead up to this doesn't say why Magneto would have turned on Scott and why he would have turned himself in.
Give me that.
I think the reason why he would turn on him is because Scott has taken his role and he wants his role back.
I want to point out that there's a typo in this issue for those of you who have picked it up. It says coming in November.
Oh yeah, November comics.
Yeah.
Shame on you,
I was
Marvel.
really confused there for a minute.
This book better be worth something now.
There you go.
But
Anyway.
so yeah, we discussed this at length before we started the video because again we didn't want to spoil the ending of it.
It's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. See, that's why it needs to be back and board.
We,
Oh, you guys missed that conversation.
Yeah.
Anthony's really upset about this whole backboard thing.
Bag and board your comics, people. Okay?
Keep them pretty.
Mass-
Most
It's mass
places, some places will sell them individually for 25 cents, already together. I mean, it's an extra $16 sometimes, okay? Just, please. For my sanity and your comic books. Please. Thank you. This has been a
And now
power
you-
announcement. Anyway, back to Magneto being bald.
so Eric,
prisoner.
Eric looks
That's just
completely
what we
different.
said,
I think he went in that outfit himself to like as a showing of good faith. But well, again, we don't know that for sure. We all think that the reason he's doing this is because of the fact that he's walked this path before. But Scott is going slightly darker than he did.
Yeah.
Magneto's done some pretty, and this is probably the most rated R thing I've said the entire book, the entire review. Magneto's done some pretty fucked up shit over the years. I mean, like from ripping Wolverine's skeleton out.
It's PG-13 right now. We can't say it again.
Yeah, that's the last one I get.
Can't Jane Silent about this.
He ripped Logan's skeleton out. He's like
Tried to tilt the world on his axis.
right.
Change that.
I mean, Asteroid M like tried to say, "Hey, all the mutants come live with me, and we'll take over the human race." It's, but he always kept that core of the Xavier dream. Like they were best friends, and you see that in whatever he does.
Mutant
It's
Liberation.
always reflected. They just had two different ways of doing things, which you later find out that Xavier wasn't quite that different than him. Which is why he got shot in the face with the Phoenix Force optic blast. But that's another story.
But he'll be back.
Yeah, Lord knows.
Come back.
Yeah.
Did anybody react when Xavier died? Because I didn't.
No.
I was glad.
Because he's already died.
I was. I mean, I
That's the
didn't
second
follow
time
the
in
whole
3 years
stuff.
that they killed him.
He's
Yeah.
wheelchair walked, wheelchair die, wheelchair walked.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was surprised to find out they had a child that he was training in the Savage Land. I mean, I obviously do not follow certain books all the time,
Right.
but I mean, I'm gonna get hate mail for this, I'm sure. But I was not sad that Xavier died.
Okay, now, the very first time it happened, about 3 or 4 years ago in the X-Men Legacy book,
Bishop
where
shot
it
him
was
in the
Bishop that
dome.
shot him in the head, that hit me personally because Bishop has always been one of my favorite characters. And growing up with the X-Men cartoons as opposed to the comics with Days of Future Past, knowing that in the cartoon, Bishop came back in time to stop the assassination of Professor Xavier. And then in the comic, for me 10 years later to read that and it's Bishop that shoots him in the head, I was like, what? Charles Xavier is dead because he got shot in the head by... Oh my god! Like, I freaked out, but then when they brought him back, and it's like, oh, Mr. Sinister kept his body and resurrected him, they slowed down time, bullshit. That was like, okay, death in comics doesn't really mean anything now. Like, you take one of the biggest pivotal characters and say he's dead, and then you're like, no, he's not. And then you kill him off in A vs. X. I didn't really react. It was kind of like, it happened. Like,
Yeah.
It's like when Thor died
Yeah.
last year.
And
Yeah.
during Siege, yeah, we all knew that was coming.
Yeah, that's just, like you just said. Like I always feel like when characters die, it's like it happens.
Yeah, like
unless it's someone like that I really, really love, and I'm just like,
right.
then I get all emotional about it.
I was really upset when Nightcrawler died.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
And they haven't brought him back yet. But they brought the Human Torch back.
And right, twice.
In like
twice.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
They brought him back in like a month.
Now, like the only characters that it seems in Marvel that are permanently dead, and like Anthony will agree with me, and Anthony can actually prove this, are Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy.
Why is only Spider-Man?
Gwen Stacy's still alive.
Is she?
The Jackal. The Jackal has kept her
clones.
Oh, well, that's a clone, though. That's.
I'm just saying. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on.
Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy are the only people that can wear YOLO shirts.
Everybody else in comics, like, honestly, after they brought Bucky back, I was just like, okay, like, this gives you the liberty to bring everybody back now.
Yeah.
Because, like, Bucky was that character that our parents grew up with in comics. That was like, oh, he died because that was, you know, showing the human side of Steve Rogers and how that affected him. And then you bring him back, and it's like, oh, you killed off a character? They'll be back.
It's like that Cataclysm, like that one video where they broke down when they brought Superman back.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Yeah, well, Superman wasn't dead. He was in a Kryptonian. We ain't going to talk about Superman.
No, it's
Please, let's not.
It's a different universe, people. Come on.
Stop talking about Superman in this video. It's just,
anyway.
there's so many things that they could do, so many stories that they could make, but instead, like, they keep, to me, like, killing off characters that they're obviously going to bring back. Now, to me, honestly, at the end of this Uncanny run, or whenever, if they don't bring back Charles and kill Scott, I'm going to be pissed. I honestly think it's about time for Scott to be dead. Like, I do.
At least for a year.
They won't do it.
At least for a year. Put him on a timeout in grave.
It doesn't need to be that obvious character that kills him either. It doesn't need to be Wolverine that stabs him in the throat or anything. It needs to be like Havoc.
Great though.
That'd be the perfect person to kill him.
It needs to be Havoc or Vulcan, because Vulcan's out there somewhere still, right? He's amongst the stars or some crap like that.
He was an irrelevant character.
I personally
maybe Jean Grey will come back again and rip his heart out, and then she'll die again.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean,
Doesn't she do that every time?
or Corsair
I don't
could
know.
come
I mean,
out.
not literally,
Yeah,
he said
he
figuratively.
You could resurrect him to kill his son. I don't like Cyclops. I don't. I grew up liking Cyclops. As a kid, I liked him because I'm like, oh, that power is cool because I wear glasses, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I got older and I'm like,
It always just made me think of the guy on Star Trek.
Jordy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who else has stayed dead is Banshee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Since Deadly Genesis, Banshee
Well,
has
I mean,
not
he came
been
back as a zombie thing when Slane
Well,
was doing
during,
the whole thing, but
Necropolis, yeah, but that
Necrucia.
was the only character that stayed that they brought back permanently from that was Douglock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cypher. But yeah, wow, Banshee is. I mean, he's one of those characters though, like
Warpath's brother.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
Thunderbird.
true.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, he's been dead since
Thunderbird.
the beginning. Like,
Yeah, he had a couple issues.
he's old school dead. Like, that's dead. But then again, like, no offense to Thunderbird fans. All right, none of you exist.
They're fans. That's what I'm saying.
Warpath was badass in X-Force, but Warpath was like Thunderbird was kind of like, what exactly is your power set? Like, we don't know. Like, one day you got super strength, one day you can teleport. I don't know what the hell you doing. Like, dude, every time they put you in a cartoon, you had a different power. I don't know what you can do. So, like, he wasn't one of those characters. Like, he was one of those throwaway characters to me that just like, oh, you can kill him off. Like, he was for the sci-fi fans, he was the Star Trek red shirt. You know, like he was one of those guys that's like, we're gonna set you down, and then it's like, you're dead. You're dead, and nobody cares because you're dead.
Because you're dead.
But like,
Shirts.
no, when they do kill off pivotal characters, like honestly, like Banshee's not a bad character, but Banshee wasn't a great character. Banshee's not. That's what like until you said this right now, I forgot about Banshee.
Yeah.
Other than like an X-Men First Class, I forgot all about him because like I just don't care. Like Siren was the better character between him and Banshee. Like Siren was, it was first and foremost a redhead, and secondly, like the whole X Factor thing was really cool. Like, and Banshee was just kind of like, hey, yeah, Charles, I've been sleeping with Maury this entire time, dude. Like, you really think the people so mad together, man? Like, I know you in love with her, but you also in love with Anne. Well, I can't remember her name.
Lilandra.
Lilandra, yeah, the bitch from the Shi'ar. That's her name. Banshee, yeah. He's a throwaway character. Like, he shouldn't be, but he is. Now, then you have characters like Nightcrawler. Main Marvel Nightcrawler, not this Age of Apocalypse crap going on right now. I liked main Nightcrawler because he was pretty much still the heart and soul of the X-Men. Like, he never changed his beliefs, no matter what happened. When he found out about the Kill Squad, it pissed him off. When he found out about X-Force. He only did things to help. He was a pacifist by nature. Like, he was a very religious character. And he wasn't one of those characters, unlike most real people, that tried to force it on anybody.
He's a good dude.
Kurt was written the way that religious people should be. Like, he was that guy that's like, hey, this is what I believe, but I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong.
I was more bored by Nightcrawler.
Really?
Yeah.
Love Nightcrawler.
I'm sorry. I mean, there was a few books where I was like totally Team Nightcrawler. Like when he found out that he was related to Mephisto, or like he was a son of Mephisto or something like that. And Mystique.
Azazel.
Is it Azazel?
Yeah.
Okay. And that whole thing with all of the children together, and that was awesome. But that, I mean, I always found him to be kind of like the duller. Like, he had awesome powers, he had awesome look, he had everything going for him. It is kind of,
I really like...
I realize that he is a crucial part of the team.
Yeah.
But I just always found him to be a little
better
bit
than
boring.
Scott.
Oh, yes.
That's not saying much, though, because so is... Artie is better than Scott. Yeah, that was a throwback. Generation X, 1998. That motherfucker ain't even talk.
Okay, we're getting closer to rated R here.
Yeah, that was 2, I'm sorry. NSFW, don't let the kids watch this.
Anyway, are we still on topic of...
We're still talking X-Men and talking how everything happened in Death and comics and everything.
Okay, that's what I'm sure we're still on topic.
We're going at least like 30 minutes ago. Anybody that looks at this are like 30 minutes.
There's cake at the end.
Yeah,
There will be
The cake is not a lie. It's going to happen. It's going to be right here.
There might be a phone number at the bottom for you to call and win cake, so you should probably watch this entire video. Don't skip to the end either, because we'll know. I will know it.
It really doesn't help when it's at the end of the video.
Whatever. No, it's cool.
It's going to be chocolate. It's going to have chocolate icing on it.
It's cool, because if they watch the end of the video, they might get cake. You might get cake.
Cake.
You know what, though? If you watch this entire video, and you can prove that you watched this entire video, I might even pay for your pass for the Expo next year.
Whoa.
In November. Not next year, this year.
This year.
That's right. We do an expo every year, just so you guys throw that out there.
Yes, this was presented by the NeGeekExpo of Ashtabula County. For those of you that don't know, we're sure that everybody who's watching this should know by now.
We should.
Yeah, the 5 of you know. You know who we are.
If you watch this entire video, you can prove it. You can send either Mark, myself, Jill, or Anthony a message saying that you watched the entire video, and you can talk about points that we talked about in the video. I will pay for your admission.
We're getting
First person to send us a message.
First person. There you go. I was gonna say.
First person. One admission.
What if this
first
is
person.
like an outgoing thing?
Yeah. Okay.
It's gonna be a lot of money out of
First person. By what is the date? What is the date right now?
The 22nd.
Today is the 22nd. I have to have a response by March 5th. March 5th, if you send me a response, I will pay.
I hope somebody watches it before then.
Okay, back to point. Are we done? Are we good?
I think we're done. Like, I think that we covered everything in that book.
Real quick, how does everybody feel about Magneto being bald?
I don't
Why
like
is his hair gone?
He's going to be wearing a helmet most of the time.
I need an explanation for things.
I just think there's a lot of chafing going on, because he wears that helmet all the time.
Yeah, but how much of the helmet is actually touching his head because of his power? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I never thought of that one, actually.
Yeah.
That's
a
actually
good point.
I was thinking there was like foam in there, like, you know, like your bicycle helmet, but I was like, man, that'd be so stupid to take it off, like your foam falls out. And you're like, oh man, I'm Magneto and my foam fell out of my helmet. How embarrassing. But the floating on his head makes more sense now.
I think that, see, here's the problem. The only issue I have with comics is it's artist discretion. The next guy that takes over after Bacho could give him hair again. Mm-hmm. And the story's going to continue like nothing's changed. Like Magneto never shaved his head, but he just did for that 1 5-minute book.
Or
Well, let's look at freaking Beast.
Yeah.
He's in like what 100 different books, and he's 100 different hairdos. And
Beast? Is it a cat?
I cannot take
same thing with Logan's hair though. Like Logan's hair is never the same, and like there's Savage Wolverine, Wolverine and the X-Men, Wolverine Origin, and like his hair is different. All of them. Like it's like Hugh Jackman one issue he looks like Hugh Jackman. The one issue he looks like Wolverine from the cartoon. The one issue he looks like Savage Wolverine, like old school bushy haired Wolverine.
Always short though.
He is always short.
Always in front of
always short. I will give him that.
A shorty.
But
and he's banging the super tall Storm.
Yeah, that's
which on the cover kind of threw me because they were.
I thought it was
eye level.
Cover.
I thought that maybe she was like lifting him up with her current to pick him up to her level. Because they didn't show her. They didn't show her slouching at all in that last little thing where they were kissing. But I don't know. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I think that's a sign from the gods of comics that we need to sign off. So
there will be retribution for that.
Until next time, I'm thinking the next time we should probably talk about if Uncanny number 2 isn't out by the time we do another video. We should probably talk about all new X-Men.
Fantastic
right now.
If this gets out before we do another video, we give us some feedback. What you guys think? But I think Amazing Spider-Man should be talked about.
Amazing Spider-Man number 699 and 700 for sure. We need to go over that.
We don't need to go Superior, but we do need to talk about 700.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in Spider-Man right now that you guys might not know. Anthony is our single-handed Spider-Man expert.
I wouldn't say expert, but I'm very angry
out of the entire group, you know more about Spider-Man than the rest of us.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Like Anthony said, let us know what you guys think. Leave comments in the bottom. I don't know if this is going to be on our YouTube channel or just on Facebook.
Both.
Both?
Both.
If YouTube will give us the links, this will be on YouTube too.
Everywhere.
Leave comments. Leave us Facebook messages. Leave us personal messages right on the wall, right on the NeGeek Facebook wall. Whatever you like, whatever you didn't like. If you thought it was too long, I don't care.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this probably for a while now, like doing different things, different topics, video games, comics, movies, books.
Tomb Raider's coming out. We can talk about that.
Actually, I do have that reserved. I will be picking up the new Tomb Raider. I will be doing an in-depth review on Aliens Colonial Marines for the Xbox 360. It's going to be about 30 seconds long. I might actually record that after this is over.
And Farscape. Maybe we'll do something on Farscape.
We're also going to go over the Hyrule Historia.
So, I mean, if there's anything that you guys are reading or watching or playing right now that you'd like us to talk about, hit us up. And if we have access to it, we'll do it.
If you want to talk about it, hit us up.
Yeah.
Unless it's 50 Shades of Grey, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh man, we're so close to it right now.
It was interesting. To say the least.
Yeah, we're pretty awesome, so I could see you guys wanting to talk to us about things.
Well,
your favorite color? I mean, hell.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
Blue,
red, and black.
Anthony.
I don't know. Gray. I'll get yelled at because that's not technically a color.
All 50 of them.
Yeah. No, probably black.
I will go on record that we will not be talking 50 Shades of Grey. We will not be talking Twilight other than to make fun of it.
I was caressing the shirt, not mine.
We will go in depth conversation about it. Just about anything else you want to talk about, but no Twilight and no 50 Shades of Grey. That's the only stipulations I have.
We'll talk about Jennifer Lawrence if you want. I'm down with that.
She-Hulk.
Mark, I'm pretty sure probably has a restraining order from Jennifer Lawrence.
Anyone wants to talk about Nightwing? Totally down.
I'm actually interested in talking about the Batman Death of the Family series.
Yes, thank you.
So we're probably going to do that. That's moving from Marvel to DC. Anthony will probably not be involved in any of the DC conversations.
I might pick up a book just so I can talk to you more.
We will be talking about older stuff too. Like I'm more than happy to talk about old school Marvel, old school DC, especially old school DC because that's when DC was actually worth a damn. My opinion.
Hey,
not speaking for the rest of us.
That was really good.
Well, Batman is not DC
at all.
There's Marvel, DC, Batman.
The big DC
as long as
thing.
we're making that a point.
The big DC
that's
thing,
established with all this.
Okay.
The big DC thing I will be talking to you about, and whoever wants to get down with it, is in April, the Injustice Gods Among Us video game. I will be doing a full review of that because I am looking very forward to that. It looks amazing.
Never heard of it.
Now, We will be doing Transformers reviews too. That's probably going to be mostly me. And a couple of the other guys that we run with are huge Transformers fans. So look us up, facebook.com/NeGeekExpo. That's NeGeekExpo. Forthcoming NeGeekExpo.com. It is not ready. We will have that up and running probably in the coming weeks.
But it's awesome.
It is awesome. I mean, we're awesome. You can't really...
It just happens.
It just
like
if it's got NeGeekExpo on it, it's just awesome. Like,
yeah.
One shout out I want to do, one big plug is the Akron Comic Con guys.
Yeah.
Want to give a big plug to those guys. They are helping us out a lot right now. I didn't get to go, but these guys that did get to go had a great time.
It was awesome.
Met some great people.
We got some big things planned for you guys. I hope
we got pictures.
Yeah.
From it.
Continue to watch. Continue to subscribe. Pay attention to the Facebook page. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Keep on geeking on.
Keep on geeking on. And as always and forever, wear your geek on your sleeve.